like I say, I don't care. I'm sitting on basically what is the end of 90 trillion years or some great amount of time. You've seen my White Star Line ships, you've seen my white aircraft, the Volker's jet. You can deny it, you can admit it, you can accept it. I don't really care. You know, I love my people. I adored my people. I thought my people were the best people ever. My Belfast shipyard I was immensely and massively proud of. As far as I know, basically I led them into a new way of being. I suggested water power, and I was the one behind saying, why don't we just use water power and hydropower and stuff like that. As far as I know, my textile factories provided a lot of clothing and a lot of other things for millions or trillions of people and gave you a basis for something magnificent. As far as I know, it was my silk people. They were my decisions. They were other people's decisions. Like they would say, there's no I in team, and we were a team. Me, the Irish, and maybe even the Amish. You know, they used to build wagons. We used to build wagons. I supported them. I invested in them. They're my inventions. There's other people's inventions. Like I said, I can only tell you about things that I've done, like Mount Rushmore and other things. I was paying. I was suggesting. You know, it was me. It was the government. I was the government basically. I invented and named America, and also invented the system. Other people knew this. You know, I'm only explaining it as the best as I can, and this is the way it is as I know it. You know, and I'm just trying to connect the dots for you and basically give a piece of the picture. To say, yes, this is me. I never hid who I was, and I don't particularly care. I mean, my ships are all already built. My Tomcat was already built. My B-1 bomber was already built. My V-22 two aircraft was built. Thousands of people. There were not manufacturing plant. I'm just saying who, what, where, when, and why, and how this all happened. So you can connect the dots. I was having the Holy Bible written, or I was part of that, I think. Except, when you ask someone to write a book or whatever, you don't really have that much control over what is written. So anyway, and then upon looking at the Holy Bible, I was like, this is junk. This is senseless. I am not responsible for it's artistic license. It's what they decided to put in there. It's supposed to be a lot cleaner and a lot more normal. Like I said, I was using the Holy Bible as basically kind of like the first books that people would go out to basically practice law or stuff like that. That was the Holy Bible back in the old days, as far as I know. Anyway, as far as the Holy Bible, I don't know. I also had Lucifer's book or the Lucifer Bible basically, and it was basically supposed to be all my tests and all my different things. Like I said, I haven't actually seen it. As far as I know, they could have burned the original and written some weird thing in its place. Like I said, I'm not like gather around a fire and smear yourself with goat blood and take LSD kind of Alfa Romeo person. I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with Guantanamo Bay. The only thing I had to do with Guantanamo Bay is that they were trying to say that they could hold these people without prosecution or due process, and I said no. Even in a military, with a military court, you have to have due process. You have to have realistic charges. You have to there has to be some basis of appeals and blah 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 blah. And that was my involvement with Guantanamo Bay. Is that I was saying that these people, you have to tell who these people are, and you have to have some sort of legal system. You can't just hold these people forever. As my government, as the extension of America, and my military cannot hold people indefinitely, nor without some sort of legal ramifications for lawyers and everything else. So anyway, that was my involvement with Guantanamo Bay. Past that, it's a resort. It's someplace I had built or something like that, and I believe it was the Germans who did it. Like I said a long time ago, when people or groups were becoming a problem, what I would do sometimes is I would have them move to an island or to a place, and some buildings would be built or whatever, and they could live there, in peace until they could show that they were no longer a problem for society. Maybe it was a bad rule, maybe it was a stupid rule, but that was the way I did it. It's not like we just dropped people off on islands. We gave them food, we gave them supplies, we gave them shelter, and we said, there you go, this is your new home. Don't leave. Anyway, past that, I don't know, I don't care. Like I said, the German submarines were watching people. I had many people. This is a planet. Technically, it's a spaceship because it's going through space. A very big one. Like I said, after millions of years or hundreds of millions of years, I had afforded myself a nice position as an artificial intelligence computer or a person, basically a life form that basically I did genetics and other things. I am the original Lusifer Star. Technically, as I know it, I was in existence before the stars, basically. But who knows? Who cares? It was 100 trillion years ago or some great amount of time. I don't care. Even if my name is actually Brian and I'm insane, it doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I was captured for some amount of time as I know it. Basically, I remember being captured for at least 100 years or 100,000 years or something while some idiot bothered me. That's all in the past. He used to taunt me every single day saying that they were going to release me and then they were going to blow up the world. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. He was a piece of shit. As far as I know, I remember some Chinese women basically and a bunch of torture and a bunch of people basically torturing a bunch of Chinese women in China until they finally had said enough and they didn't care if whoever was going to kill them. But they would no longer bow to this other person. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. As far as I know, I was the best, most wonderful, most loving, most caring life form I could possibly ever be. At one point in time, I did say to some exoskeletons that they could torture the human race or whatever because I just didn't care anymore. They had been, as far as I know, they had been torturing some exoskeletons, some sentient exoskeletons and everything else. I did restrict the exoskeletons saying, well, I don't think you should torture 150 million people, maybe only just 1,000. I limited it. So, anyway, whatever. Those are my decisions. Those are my orders, my wills, my blah, blah, blah. It's in the past. It's over with. It doesn't matter anymore. We got past it. Everyone knew that my council was lying to me. I knew that my council was lying to me. That's why I had multiple councils. I had the Japanese council, I had the Chinese council, I had the Asian council, I had the American council, and other councils. I'm just filling in the blanks for you. I don't really give a fuck. Rodney would come along and bother me and bug me and say, you're not going to win. I don't really give a fuck. I didn't particularly appreciate having Rodney scream into my face. And a lot of Irishmen didn't feel it was right either, considering I am Lusifer Star of the White Star Lines Company. All those ships, those were me. Those were a bunch of Irishmen. There was Chinese, there were Germans. We were a group. A very, very, very large group. Also the LSF-A. I don't really give a fuck. I care about my people, yes. I care greatly about my people. I love my people. I would, like I say, and I mean it, I would die for an Irishman. I would die for Birmingham and all those other places. My groups in Warsaw. I really cared about them. I really cared about the old Germans too. I was the one trying to stop the death and destruction or whatever. And whatever, or at least as far as I know. So,